Early this year, I competed in UNPL's previous Academy season, and ultimately, I did not perform as well as I wanted. With a solid team, a more than capable Paradox Pokémon to work with, and I myself being a relatively new captain to the competitive draft realm, I came across many ups and downs. From accidentally mashing my controller resulting in an unfortunate loss, to being blessed by the almighty hack gods from an almost impossible combat to scrape a W. I ended up in the bottom third in my division, only pulling a 3-6 win-loss ratio by the end of my season's run, not even making it to playoffs. Last year, I was once a Draft League winner, but lately I've been nothing but a Draft League drowner. But after that, I trained, I learned, and I understood what needed to be done. And that was to search someone who I may call a wise man that can help guide me to the ultimate championship of this league. And that's where I found someone who has previously helped notable Pokemon Draft League players to victory in the past. And my personal wise man is my homie, the Frosty Random, captain of the Tuscaloosa Tusk Chains, one of my very good Pokemon Draft League friends, and a mind for the game that I myself cannot comprehend. With him by my side, nobody can stop this combination. And so, my journey as captain of the Hamilton Torracats, along with my personal wise man Frosty Random, will take the season of UNPL Academy by storm. And ultimately, this is a fight or flight season, where failure is no longer an option. And to win, to conquer UNPL Academy for my own. And now, you may witness the start of what's yet to come. The king shall take his throne.
Hello! What up? It's your boy Jarl. I haven't uploaded in a while. What's been going on? You know, just finished my 3rd year in carpentry at school, so I was busy with that. And I just want to take a bit of a draft break, but you know what? It's time for the best part of the summer, baby! Let's go! Woo! Yeah, baby! And you know what that is? It's UNPL Academy time! I was here last season. I got my ass whooped. So I'm here for round 2, baby. Round number 2. I'm going to knock them out. I'm going to take some W's, and this league will be mine, baby. Let's go. It's your boy, Jarl. I should probably do my intro. How's it going? Hopefully y'all have been doing well. Thanks for all the support. And thank you for Danny and some of the other mod teams to allowing me to be back into UNPL Academy. You know who you are. You're the GOAT, Stanny. You're my brother, buddy. Good luck in the main season. I will be part of the UVA Division, which I'll be part of one of 12 different other teams who are very good. To say the other teams are good is definitely not giving them enough credit. But you know, I think I got a pretty good draft. But you'll see just in a second. Just to kind of give you some information about how this draft's gonna go. We were each given 115 points to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon, and Pokemon who are 6 points of under, I should say, in the tier listing, can be eligible for a Terra Captain, because this is a lower tier Terra Captain Draft League format. Pretty pog, if I do say so myself. Definitely will be using some lower tier Pokemon that I've always kind of wanted to use, and the one actually drafted is one I've had on my list for a while, so I'm very excited for that to work out. You can only have a max of 12 Terra points to use up, so basically you can draft 1 to 3 Pokemon, and you can use them as Terra Captains as long as those points all add up to 12 points overall. You can choose 3 different types for your Terra Captain. They don't have to be Stab, and it's not a Terra Preview, so just 3 whatever points to work, which is nice. And your boy snagged first overall place. You know what's so funny? So within the draft leagues that I'm doing now and some of the other ones, the ones I've done before, I've gone first, second, and first. So your boy has been super lucky when it comes to these positions in drafting, but not really the luckiest when it comes to the season. So we're looking to change that, especially with my homie Frosty Random as my coach per se, my holy wise man. So I'm looking to have him on my back to give me some good training for this arc. That's the training arc. That's all it's all about. Again, thank you to Danny for the mods for having me up here, representing the Hamilton Torracats for this season of UNPL Academy. Let's just get right to it, eh? Like, I'd say let's just get right to it. Okay, and here we go, a send-off into our Pokemon Draft League picks for the Hamilton Torracats. Round number 1, as you can see, we got Dragapult, baby. I cannot believe I finally got this Mon. Again, I've been first so many times, and yes, I haven't been picking him for some of the leagues, but I think now is the time to finally pull this Mon out. He's worth 20 points. He's one of the 3 Pokemon. I think I can't remember if Xianpao and Deoxys S was up there. I have to recheck it. Xianpao might have been banned. But yeah, I mean, crazy what this Mon can do everything. I mean, look, its speed is 142. It's going to be most likely the fastest Mon that's going to be out on the field at any given time. It's a fantastic special and physical attacker, so it could be mix is really very good. Its bulk is in the grays, 80 HP is pretty decent, but with 75 defenses, of course, it's not the best. You're not really using it defensively unless you want to do like a dual screen set, which you can do with light screen reflect. And the momentum this Mon gets, it's like U-turn is amazing, and this is so good. You can like Thunder Wave people, which and believe me, I'll be Thunder Waving people along as Will-O-Wisping. We gotta get that Haxin, baby. That along with Hex is amazing too. It's so good. I was also, just to get the dragon out of the way and to have a super nice offensive ghost type Pokemon together is just it's fantastic. I can't complain with it. And also all of its abilities are great. Infiltrator, getting past screens, and Aurora Veil will be super handy against some other mons and my opponents who will be setting up that. Clear Body, so we don't get any of our stats lowered from like Intimidate or from a move, for example, and Curse Body if we want to run maybe a little more defensively, and 30% chance of getting that move disabled from an opponent might come in clutch, and yeah, should be pretty good. And we got the nickname Top Flight based off of the tag team in AEW right now. They're awesome, and I'm happy to see Dragapult be on our team. Next but not least, we got Primarina, Jillian Hall, actually, who is a returning member of the Hamilton Torracats, a returning roster member, I should say. We had them for a UNPL D League, which I also did not I did not do well in. I originally recorded those and I dumped the recordings because I'm like, yeah, this is not good. For some reason why I prefer Wi-Fi over Showdown. Something about the two, it just feels very different. I want to do national decks sometime. Anyways, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, no, number 2, which is nice. Primarina. I just want to kind of get my Dragon Fairy Steel core out of the way. So I thought, you know, all the other fairy types are getting stolen. I was originally thinking Clefable. Clefable was taken, so I went with Primarina. I should also preface that Frosty also helped me with the drafts, so just kind of, we talked about things, gave suggestions, and kind of look at what our options are, especially being at number 1, getting those picks in, which is super nice. So I went with Primarina. Liquid Voice and Torrent, both good, both has its purposes. It is a lot slower, so you have the speed from 142 from Dragapult to 75, not 74, sorry, 60 for Primarina, but its special defense is amazing, and its special attack is awesome too, and then decent HP for bulk, so you can run it screens, as we talked about before. You can make it more offensively with Scarf, or with Throat Spray, or you can make it Assault Vest and boost that special defense even more. It's fantastic. You got great momentum in Flip Turn as well, and Encore, which is very nice as well. And we won't be using any physical sets, but I have Ice Spinner as an option to get rid of terrain is fairly decent as well. I'm fairly happy with this mod. I've always liked Primarina. Having, again, the option to go defensively to offensively is a very good option, and I'm happy to have that indeed. And next we got Dusty Woods, the American Dream, Jirachi. Now, the Hacks gods love bless this Pokemon. I mean, Serene Grace. It's just, it makes this Pokemon a Hacks master. And if there's someone to tame this Pokemon, it's me. It's the Hacks King, baby. JarlTheKing himself. 100 across the board in terms of stats, because it's one of those, I forget, like those Pixie legendaries. I forgot what they always call them. What can this thing not do? It's got Stealth Rocks. It's got Trick. It's got Thunder Wave, which is fantastic. It's got Baton Pass, Encore, U-Turn. It's so good. It's so good. And like I said, getting that Fairy Steel Dragon Core out of the way is amazing. It also gives me a decent Psychic type, and Serene Grace is helping out with all those secondary moves, like in Zen Headbutt and Thunder Punch, Iron Head, for example, Fire Punch as well. It's making those hacks percentages a little higher, which we want, of course, because you know, some people will be like, I don't want to play around hacks. Me, I gotta play around hacks. Okay, I need them wins, baby. I'm suffering out here. I'm suffering out here. But yeah, having that 3 out of the way first, it's awesome. It's so good, so good. So then when it came back to me, I had to make another 2 picks. I thought, you know, now's the time to make the trigger on my Terra Captain. So I went with the homie, Hariyama. We got Yokozuna, which I previously used as a nickname for Iron Hands in Tinker Chat Friends League, who, if there's anyone that was part of that, those were some good times. You know that. You know that. My boy Frosty, my boy Danny knows that for sure. And a couple other people who I'm in this division with as well. I've always wanted to use as a Terra Captain. There's always been better options, although, but that's why, since it's low tier and he classifies as a lower tier Terra Captain, I thought, you know, might as well pull the trigger now. He's super, super great. I mean, the bulk is fantastic. HP wise, defense wise, not the best, but his 120 attack as well is fantastic. He is fairly slow. That's the only thing. He is fairly slow, but I gave him some pretty good defensive typings, I want to say, in terms of his Terra types, which we'll go over. And there are normal, steel, and fairy, as you see. Normal, I want to choose just to do some absolutely terrible shenanigans with Terra normal facade guts, which is going to hit anything like a truck. Let's be honest. Might be a little predictable sometimes, but you know what? I think it could work. Steel is fantastic. It resists fairy typing, and it's the psychic typing that we are naturally weak to, which is great. And we got the fairy typing, just a naturally really good defensive typing, which you can have as well. But it's just so good. I think the combination for these will be great. I should also mention that steel will be good for a heavy slam as well, which will be super, super nice. And I think it gets Iron Head as well, but oh yes, I did write that. Iron Head. But overall, I think it's going to be a great Terra Captain. I'm excited to use it. Its abilities, like I mentioned before, Guts, Thick Fat is good more defensively, especially with when we're paired for the Steel typing, so we're not as weak to fire as we should be. And Sheer Force is always a fantastic ability. If we want to put a Life Orb on there too, we can absolutely go for that. And the Mon after that, we got the classic draft pick, and that is Donphan, because Iron Treads and Great Tusk was already taken, so why not just get the 3rd best option? And Donphan is right there. It could be one of our main spinner, one of our main hazards remover of the roster, which is definitely super nice. Ice Spinner to get rid of terrain. It's got Encore as well, knockoff, so it's actually one of our few knockoff users along with Hariyama, which is great just to get rid of those items. Stab Earthquake is hitting everything super nicely. Sturdy lets us take like a special super effective hit against us too, because we're not being able to take advantage of Sand Veil. But Donphan's fantastic. It's another slow Mon. Like we've been getting few slow Mons in a row, barring Jirachi of course. But defensively, it's amazing. Like 90 HP and 120 defense. It's fantastic. It's such a good option for certain scenarios if we want to play it, again, more defensively, which is super, super nice. It also gets body press, so that's some good shenanigans too. If we want to do some iron defenses and run a body press set, then nothing's really going to be taking it all too much. We got the homie Tony D'Angelo as a nickname right there, the Dawn of NXT, and hopefully he'll be the Dawn of the roster. Next up, for our next 2 Pokemon, I wanted something that can have Defog, and by that time there wasn't very many good flying types or Pokemon that know Defog, because I didn't want Donphan to be the only hazard remover, I want to say. Around that time, I was kind of looking for a fire type too. This is around the time I was looking for like a fire and the grass type, just to kind of have that combination happening. So we went with Amazing Red Talonflame. Which is fantastic. Just adds to our speed category at 126, so it'll be, of course, less speedy compared to Dragapult, but still a fantastic speedster when it comes to that. Flame Body and Gale Wings, 2 fantastic abilities if we want to be a little more defensive, and someone hits us with a physical attack this time, I got that right, then I think it's got that 30% chance to burn them, which would be great. Gale Wings, just a classic ability for Talonflame, makes all of our flying type moves have priority. So if we want to set like a Tailwind or Brave Bird or do a Wing Beat, all that sort of stuff. Defog, let's talk about before, if we're at full HP. We mostly will be running heavy duty boots on this Mon here, along with Donphan, because we don't want to get triggered by hazards. But if we don't have the opportunity to do that and do something different, we can make use of Talonflames as a physical prowess, definitely more Often, its stats aren't great besides its speed, but considering it's like Will-O-Wisp, U-Turn, Defog, Tailwind, which is nice for us, and we can always take on a physical moveset, or we can even run mixed if we really want to, with like Heat Wave and Hurricane, but we'll see for that. We'll be weak to rocks, but it helps us for our other options as well. And to go from one possible defensive option to another, we got Overquill, which is a mon I've always really wanted to use over the years for Pokemon. I say over the years, but like over the year. I should say, realistically. I love this mon. I think Overquill is amazing. I think it's very underrated for certain things. Also, the nickname, it will be Quillshot. If you know Killshot from Lucha Underground, also known as Swerve Strickland from AEW, current AEW champion. Overquill's abilities, Poison, White, Swift Wind, Intimidate, all fantastic abilities. If someone wants to bring in Rain against us, which our actually weak one opponent could possibly bring in, Swift Swim absolutely makes our Overquill an amazing Pokemon. Offensively, Poison Point allows someone almost like Flame Body, if they hurt us physically, they could get poison. And Intimidate is great as just in general as a whole to shut down any physical attackers that are trying to come in against us. Having that dark typing is fantastic because we're not hurt by Prankster at all, which is super nicely. And being poison type will allow us to absorb them Toxic Spikes, which is great. But speaking about Toxic Spikes, we got that ourselves. We got Spikes as well. It's fantastic, so it'll be definitely one of our main Toxic Spikes and Spike setters in general. So it'll be super nice. Speed's not bad at 85, but physically this thing's amazing. I guess Aqua Jet Liquidation. I'm surprised it doesn't get Water Stab, honestly, at the end of the day, because the amount of water coverage this thing gets. If only it got Flip Turn. If only this thing got Flip Turn, it'd be so nicely. But just to have Toxic overall is nice to whittle some defensive options down, which would be super nice. I'm excited to use this Pokemon for sure. Next up is actually our second Terra Captain and our last Terra Captain of our draft, and that is Rotom Frost, also known as Catering. Because if you're not being Buck's brother, you're going to be in Catering. With Levitate as ability, which is fantastic, and the Terra types we chose for that is Electric, Water, and Poison. Again, being Poison typing is a more defensive typing, allows us to still be immune to ground type attacks, which is fantastic. So which means we're only weak to psychic type moves. It's not the worst thing there. Electric typing I think is better than the ice typing in this stance, where we could just hit a little harder, and water as well to hit ground types, because we don't really have anything to hit ground types as Rotom Frost. So Terra Water gives us the opportunity to play a little offensively and just hopefully hit those ground types. Speed is pretty good at 86. Its rest of its stats is like fantastic besides its attack and HP, but you're not really worrying about attack. HP you can deal with because this thing gets Plane Split for recovery, which is fantastic, but defense, special attack, and special defense is fantastic, as I was talking about before. I think all the Rotom forms are a very good candidate to be Terra Captains, because having Levitate in general is amazing, especially if your team or roster is weak to Earthquake, which I do have some people who are weak to Earthquake. And then also you can change your Terra typings, because special attack is fantastic, and you can definitely burst through some defensive options with that, along with Hex if you've got like Thunder Wave or Will-O-Wisp, as we were talking about before. It's got good momentum in a Volt Switch, and if you want to change our items up, if we want to run like Scarf or something, we can do Trick, almost like, I want to say like Jirachi and Dragbolt can do before, which is super nice. But otherwise, like, yeah, I love this mon. I mean, like, it's great. I've used a few other a few other Rotoms before, but haven't used them as a Terra Captain, so this will be the first time we'll be using Rotom Frost as Terra Captain in general. I had a few friends who else had them as Terra Captains in different leagues, and they've always said good things, and I've always been curious to try, and just to have that natural Bolt Beam coverage in Blizzard is fantastic if it hits, because if knowing my luck, that shit ain't gonna hit. But you know what? I think we can manage. With the last three Pokemon, I was really up in the air. I had Frosty really help me out to really look through the options, because it's like at this point you're really fighting for what can make the team solid. So we went a little bit out of kind of my realm of being comfortable of what I'm typically used to drafting, but I think that's why I haven't been doing as well lately, because I'm so stuck to doing what I normally do, and compared to what some other people think, I'm definitely not as intelligent. I think in that aspect, and I want to get better, so I'm starting to learn. So next we go for Arboliva, Arbolive, or I might change this nickname to Liva Morgan. I'm split between the two. You'll see later. You'll see later. I guess we'll discover it later. It gives us our final trio typing that I was looking for in that grass typing, and we also got a normal typing as well, so it doesn't make us completely weak to ghost types, which is fantastic. I know Overquill can resist ghost types attacks, but Arboliva allows us to fully stop that, which is great. Seed Sower and Harvest, most likely we'll be using Seed Sower unless I'm planning super devious with Harvest and Berries. Seed Sower is just, it's not as good as Grassy Terrain, but it's Grassy Terrain at home, which in some instances it's not the worst thing because it helps us against them ground type attacks from Pokemon like Jirachi and the draft pick that you'll see right after this. Arboliva, it's going to be the slowest thing on the field. At 39 base speed, it's not great. Its bulk isn't terrible though. Its special defense 109 is really good, and the special attack of 125 is fantastic. It's good for screens. It's good for setting up like Sun if I do want to set up Sun, for example. It's good. Got these special attacks. Encore is fantastic. We can make it like Subseed if we really want to, and it gets some decent recovery again with Leech Seed and Strength Sap as long as Synthesis. So that's pretty decent. And yeah, so hopefully it's gonna be pretty decent. Having that grass typing and the normal typing, I was really looking for an Arboliva, which is kind of that package deal near the end that I couldn't really pass up. So I ended up going for that. And for our last two picks, we got Loki, the Klefki. A Pokemon that I've used many times, not for Draft League, but for just competitive Pokemon overall, since Generation 6. What can you say? This is one of the main prankster Pokemon that I could really think of, other than, I'd say, Grimmsnarl and Sableye, for example, as well as Murkrow. But Steel Fairy typing, what a fantastic combination together. Did it before Tinkaton, and I love Tinkaton, but we are going for Klefki because I said having a prankster Pokemon is fantastic. We're not going to use Magician. Fuck Magician, that's a terrible ability. So we're going to use Prankster basically 99.9% of the time. It's awesome. It also has spikes, so it doesn't mean Overquill is going to be the only spiker out there. It gets Thunder Wave, having the advantage to have Prankster Thunder Wave or Screens or Switcheroo if we want to switch our item. Trick Room if we ever want to do some crazy stuff, but still fantastic, and I'm excited to use Pokemon. It's very good defensively. It is got that ground weakness like we were talking about earlier, but with our Terra typings and some of our other options like in Seed Sower or Arboliva, that's not going to be much of an issue. It's not the most offensive thing out there. It's kind of a mix between offensive and defensive. Its speed isn't that great as well as its HP, but 80s and 90s across the board for the rest. He can make it work with Screams, especially with foul play as well. If you're up against someone who is a better physical attack than me, then it's not going to be super terrible. And last but not least, we got Gligar, Gangrel, the Brood. This is a Pokemon that I originally was like, I'm not sure if I should go for him, and then the more I saw, the more I understood. I'm like, wow, this thing with an Eviolite is pretty decent. Like, it's not as good as Gliscor, let's be honest, because Gliscor is in its own other realm. I mean, all three abilities, they're not the best. I mean, if I want to run a Hyper Cutter, just not be affected by Intimidate, then maybe. I'm not sure, but I mean, like, this thing is fantastic. It adds to the Stealth Rock's use along with Jirachi and Donphan, so we can set those. It gets spikes and toxic spikes, as well as toxic, which is still amazing because there's such limited use in toxic now in terms of Pokemon getting it this generation, which is fantastic. Momentum and U-turn. It's got Baton Pass, also Tailwind. I'm still fairly sure, as well as Knockoff. It's awesome. This thing is so good. The amount of stuff and the movesets and just moves in general you can use with Pokemon, it's great. If you want to make it defensive, cool. If you want to make it offensive, awesome. It gets Scale Shot, which you'll never see, but still is an option. Like, this thing's so good. And defensively, like I said with Eviolite, I think it's going to eat up moves. 85 speed is still fairly decent. 105 defense with Eviolite, that's pretty decent. And it's a ground flying type, so it's not going to be affected by ground type moves, but it's not going to be affected by electric type moves either, because it's fully immune to that with the ground typing. I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, overall, the more I look at this team, the more I'm actually in love with it. I'm really happy for this team, and I'm just super happy and lucky that I got first pick in terms of the draft. But and I'm really appreciative of Frosty for helping me out and from being my coach for this season, because I definitely need it. It's a lot of work. But ultimately, I hope you guys enjoy this draft analysis. I'll be posting this and editing this in a few days, so hopefully you guys are doing well. good luck to everyone else I know who are in the same division of me, because I'm going to kick your ass. Oh yeah, I'm going to win this league. Just you watch. Just you wait. The king is here to take his rightful throne. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Oski wee wee, Oski wawa, holy macana. Torracats, eat 'em raw.